So if you're diagnosed with cancer and you're literally fighting for your life, who do you want to make your medical decisions? Chances are it's not the government, but that's what's happening to one teenager who tried to refuse chemotherapy in Connecticut.
My daughter's refusing chemo because of the poison toxins that she does not want in her body. It not only kills cancer, it kills everything in your body. She knows this. This is her human rights, her human constitutional rights to not put poison in her body. Her rights have been taken away. She has been forced to put chemo in her body right now as we speak.
Well, doctors are telling state officials that the young woman named Cassandra will die without the treatment. Should she trust them to act in her best interest? Here to react, Fox News contributor Dr. Keith Abloh and Fox News legal analyst Arthur Idella. We thank you both for being here. This is a tough one here. Does the government have a right to force you to use chemotherapy as a means to fighting cancer?
I don't see where it is in the Constitution. I don't see where it is in any state statute in the state of Connecticut. It would be totally different if there was extreme negligence on behalf of these parents. But you heard the mother. She gives a very articulate reason why they don't want to do this. How many wakes have I been to of people who died of cancer where their loved one says the cancer didn't kill them, the chemotherapy killed them? And it's not, Elizabeth, they're not treating this at all. They're just using alternative methods of treatment as opposed to the typical chemotherapy.
Well, thank God I'm here. Here's the truth. Hodgkin's disease, terrible illness, but among the most treatable cancers. How do you treat it? With chemotherapy. I differ with my brother here because the bottom line is this mother doesn't give an eloquent explanation of why she's refusing with her daughter chemotherapy. She says it kills all the cells in your body. That's not true.
Why isn't it enough that she's just the parent opting for a different treatment of her own child?
Because you're not allowed to participate in the demise of your child. That's called manslaughter.
Keith, I would agree with you.
And negligence. It's not called parenting.
Okay, but
sometimes the government does have to step in.
I would agree with you if they weren't doing anything. If she's like, no, we're just going to let this happen and we'll see what happens and Mother Nature or God will take care of it. That's not what they're doing. They are addressing it in alternative ways. A 17-year-old person.
A 17-year-old young woman may die because her parents are ignorant or otherwise misdirected. They're not saying this is our religious conviction. They're not saying they've demonstrated this reticence about medical treatment in the past. They have a wrong-minded idea about medicine, and they should be removed as her guardians.
Where do you draw the line when it comes to personal rights here? Some would say this is a slippery slope.
She
actually ran away. She left. She didn't want this treatment so much so that she left.
Yeah, we're not near the slippery slope. Hodgkin's lymphoma, eminently treatable. She can survive. She, at 17, can't make that decision. She may be under the influence of these parents who make 0 sense. Hence, the government must step in because that's what we pay the government to do, safeguard our kids.
Correct. So the government can step in and tell you and me that our children can't go to school unless they get certain vaccines.
Flu shot.
Because it's not taking care of our kids. That's to protect the other kids. It's so that your kid gets the mumps shot and the measles shot so they don't get the measles and pass them along to everybody
else. So they're protecting the masses there.
Correct.
Here's a better metaphor.
They're not stepping in and jumping into your life and your children's life.
You know I hate government intrusion. I really do.
But you're advocating for it right now.
In certain cases we need it because this is worse than beating your kid. In cases in which a child is beaten, we ask the government, please step in and get those kids to safe foster care.
It's a penal law violation.
This is worse than that. They're encouraging their daughter to die.
No, they're not.
Yes, they are, because the treatment is well accepted.
What would you do in terms of looking at the parent? Because this is a 17-year-old girl allowing some people to say, you know what, she's almost 18. She can drive a car. She can decide what to put in the car. She can decide a lot of things for herself. If this were a 5-year-old little girl, what would people be saying if she were 5?
If she were 5, and she may as well be because she's 17 and she's not an emancipated minor. And what I'd be asking the parents is, please go through this with me again. Why are you advising your daughter to not get this accepted?
Okay,
very
real quick,
powerful
before you have to go, here's the question.
Yes.
If the young woman was 17 and she was a gymnast or some sort of an athlete and she had gangrene and the only way to her to live is to cut off her leg and she chose, I'd rather die with both legs than have my leg cut off, does the government say, nope, you got to cut off your leg? Can the government do that?
Well, would the government allow a 17-year-old
to say, "I'd rather die with 2 legs than have my leg cut off"?
And would a parent say, "I would not like my child to be maimed"?
I think the government would appoint a guardian, and a decision would have to be made in that case. But if the parents were encouraging that for her to die, I'd say I will really want a very strict review.
It's a dicey debate here. Thank you both for being here.
All right, thank you.
Dr. Keith.